Alright, guys. Alright. I know I've got a couple messages about people asking for a deck tech. Kind of basically the week before my PQ season. This is pretty much the list that I'll be playing. I don't think there'll be many changes, so we do have to go over a couple things. The first thing is that KO and Florian are at around 730 living legend points, and they're our worst matchups by far. As well as Verdants, okay? So if you are planning to bring this type of Ira, just be of note that into Acilio, into Slippy, into any other deck that isn't the Earth Heroes or KO, you will do well if you have reps. As you've seen in a couple of my gameplay videos, even Dorinthia is a good matchup as well. Yeah, so essentially, I'm just going to go through my list. I'll talk about my meta, and I'll talk about a few other things as well. So kind of similar to the last one. So yeah, basically, first of all, we are on Blood Splatter Vest and Flick Knives. This is the center combo of what we're trying to do into a lot of matchups. These basically allow us to be quite aggressive throwing our daggers. There's two Kodachis here, and in our side we are on the third again, just to make Concealed Blade a lot more threatening. Pushes that extra breakpoint, kind of like an Ancestral Empowerment, but we're also relying on that third attack hitting, and then we can flick, so we get an extra point, and then we get our Kodachi back, just in case they have like a Sunken Treasure or something like that. We still have one. Mask is Mask. It's the best in slot. Basically, centerpiece of our plan. Off 2 to 3 card hands, we can draw an extra card, and by the basis of the list, usually drawing a card is quite good, especially with Easter Egg. Pouncing Paws is just there for dual threat, and it's our only bit of armor that actually blocks. Well, reliably. Sweet, so we'll go into it. So Bittering Thorns is just a mainstay Ira card. I mean, it's got Ira on the picture, right? Why not play it? Some people would have that thought with Scar for a Scar as well. I'm not too big of a fan on Scar for a Scar. It is a 2-block, and I'd like to keep the 2-block density down. I think if you did want a 1-card play, though, it's a good choice. If you were on Tunic, though, over the Vest, I would actually recommend Life for Life, which is a card I haven't seen many people playing, but it's a 1 for 5 with Go Again that gives you a life, basically. And I say 1 for 5 because if you play it second, but it's also like pseudo 1 for 6 because of the life gain, so it's actually a really good card. Censor is an amazing card. It fits our curve really well as the 1 for 5 block 3. And we also have the stipulation of being able to name like a Blood Rush Bellows, we can name a Gone in a Flash, we can name Blast of Oblivion, we can name 3 of a Kind. There's a lot of scenarios where knowing your opponent's deck really makes Censor shine. It's one of the cards that I think shows your skill the most as a Ira player, a Ninja player. Command and Conquer is just an all-star mainstay card. This is the traditional, you know, coming for 7. I forgot to explain Ira, but our second attack each turn does get +1. Pretty basic, just a regular ninja hero. Cut Through is really nice as well, and I explained this in the last video, but off a 0-card hand and Blood Splattered Vest, you can actually lead on this, assuming that they don't have a shelter. You can flick, which will give this 1 damage, and push this to 4, so you just did a 0 for 5 with Go Again. You can also gain a resource, and then come in with like a Bittering, a Censor, a Torrent, or even if you needed to, you can pay for like one of our sideboard cards that we'll get to later. So really nice card. If anything else, you can play it second to come in for 5 off the +1, and it's just the all-around good extender for a dagger-centric build. Enlightened Strike, really enjoy this card. Just the fact that it gives you multi-purpose options is really important when you're playing in certain matchups. Like a lot of the time, if you're in an aggro matchup, it could be just 1, 2, tuck a card, come in for 7, and then you're threatening a draw and asking them for 2 cards and an equipment, or a card and a D-react. Otherwise, maybe you just need it as an extender. You could even go pitch a blue, Kodachi, gain a resource Kodachi, so you have 2 floating, and then you can go again into one of our 2 costs, which is even nicer, so you threaten Mask on the 3rd one as well there. Pain in the backside, I'm on 2 currently at the moment. I think putting this to 3 is a little bit too risky at the moment, and I'd rather make some room for some other sideboard cards. But essentially what we're doing here is just making this a 0 for 4, or 0 for 5 if you're coming on the second link. It just asks our opponent, hey, are you really going to take an extra damage if you don't give me a 3 block on this? So it's basically a better version of Scar for a Scar, which is why I've got it in the slot here. And also something to note, this is the only card currently in the game that says when this hits a hero, target dagger you control deals 1 damage, right? But the next stipulation is if it's dealt this way, the dagger's hit. It doesn't destroy the dagger, which is really good because it lets us basically go 0 for 3, no blocks, gain a resource, censor, right? So you just did a 2-card 10, which is pretty good. So 4 plus 6 from Ira. Very cool. Pick up the point is kind of the mainstay part of the deck, right? Why would you run Flick Knives if you're not going to be able to get your daggers back? So we've got Pick Up the Point Red. One of my favorite cards actually in the deck, just lets you be really flexible in chain link maneuverability. So think of it like when you're versing a Syndra. There's that unpredictability of like, oh, how many links do I block? How many links is my opponent going to go for? When are they going to flick? So this card here is really nice, especially because we can gain a resource to, essentially, if we have this in a blue, we can go 1, 2, flick, that's 4 damage, gain a resource, play this, that's 7, and then we can use the extra resource to attack again for 1. So that's a 2-card 8, using the Blood Spider Vest, or a 2-card 7, split up as well, which makes it really annoying, and we can do this 3 times in a game. That's not even including adding it alongside any of these cards. So really nice card. I'm of the opinion that I think this is better than Upsticks, just because it continues your chain. The only time we want to be breaking the chain, really, is for dual threat. So you'll notice that's our only non-attack besides Warmongers. Sweet, we'll go on to the next card. So we got Sink Below, just an all-round amazing card. Nothing wrong with this card at all. The only time you want to take it out is against Kano. But otherwise, this is always in my list. I don't think there's really many scenarios where I'm taking this out. Lets you do some hand fixing, lets you tuck some cards for later, like you want to put a dual threat to the bottom. Just fixes your hands. It's really nice. Really good card. Yeah, so next we have Torrent and Tempo. This is card I've warmed up on. I'm on 3 at the moment as well now. From my testing, I just think the fact that it's a 1 for 5 that blocks 3 is the mainstay line of it. Kind of similar to what I said, being a card that lets us use our Vest really well. And the on-hit go again is also nice into aggro decks that don't want to block you. Might scare them a little bit, even if you have nothing to follow up on. Dual Threat is just perfect. It's such a good addition. The fact that it's a 3 block and a 0 cost is really, really good. Only thing that would make this better is if it was blue, but then it'd be busted. So, you know. Yeah, basically a +6. So, you guys know the lines. Pitch a blue, Kadachi, break your boots, come in for 1, close chain, play dual threat, and then follow it with like a Bittering Thorns into a dagger, or dagger into CNC, something like that. And that's where we use our Vest to get that extra resource so we can pay for our 2 costs, like CNC. Onto the blues now. So we're running 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 16, 17, 21 blues. In the main, I think this is the right spot. You can be a little bit flexible. If you're more low to the ground and you have less 2 costs, you could go for 19 blues, I found to be quite good. Otherwise, I would probably recommend 21 to 23 blues is the sweet spot for Ira. In a Kadachi build, that is. So yeah, Concealed Blade. Basically, Ancestral Empowerment with a little bit of a flair. It's a blue for 1. They both block 3. This card is really nice with our extra Kadachi. As I said before, just being able to leverage like the pain in the backside, right? That's a ninja card. Bittering Thorns, pushing that one up as well. If they try to, you know, throw a D-React on it, you go 1, 2, 4. Actually, Concealed Blade on that. Yeah, really flexible, works on Torrent, that's kind of why I added these 2. Be careful that it is only on ninja cards, Assassin there too, but yeah, so keep note of your ninja cards, cut through as well, it's quite good as well. Yeah, so similar, we have Knives Out, more of a late game kind of card, or a card that just fills in a role of a flex slot blue. A lot of the time, you're just going to be using this to pitch, but there might be some turns, like especially turn 1, where they won't block the first Kodachi, and you'll just get 2 damage in for free. And in an aggro matchup, or sometimes, that's really all you need. That's kind of... more damage is more damage at the end of the day. You can also use this card, funnily enough, to push your daggers if you really need a resource, or just to close out a game, which I think is quite good. Sweet, so next is Nip. Kind of a similar feel to Concealed Blade, except this works on all of our pickups, Pain in the Backside, and our cut-throughs, and our Kodachis, and that's why I really think this card is potentially a 3-of card. I just really have found that I think 2 is a nice spot, but these blues are really all personal preference, to be honest. Onto our other retrieve cards, so we're running 6 total. Here we have Pick Up the Point Blue. Now, you might be like, why are we not playing the reds? Essentially, we just want to keep our blue base strong, okay? We want to have good blues, as you'll see later, that actually progress our game plan and that do something for us. The only downside is that it blocks too. But yeah, I really like this card. I just think it's another addition. It always gets armor, especially if you have like another blue that you need to go 1, 2, flick 1. They'll normally give you like a refraction bolters or dynamos, like something like that, just to get it out of the way, which is quite nice. And it's more chances to flick. So that if we look at it like this, it's essentially 6 free damage, 7 if you include the extra Kodachi. And that adds up across the game. As Ira, you essentially want to make the game go quick. This is an aggro deck, but sometimes the games go long. So yeah. Next we've got Rowdy Locals. So this card is really interesting. It's kind of a endgame card, I would put. It's the kind of card where you want to see it late, and you will because you're pitching it most of the time, but on the off chance that you do need to block with it, it blocks 3, so it's pretty nice. We can stack the triggers with Mask as well, so if we go 1, 2, 2, and we draw a card, we can actually discard the card we don't want off the Mask, and we can force them to discard 2, because remember, this isn't a May. This says, when this hits a hero, discard a card. If you do, they discard a card. So it's basically always checking if you have a card in your hand for it. Yeah, Stab Wound is just another card that works with our pick up the points. What this is doing basically is allowing us to kind of extend. We can have turns that are really cool where you have like a triple blue hand. So say we got Warmonger's Stab Wound and a pick up the point, either color. We can go 1, 2, flick. So that's 3 daggers that will have hit. Pick up the point again. Pay the 1 extra from the blood splattered. And if that hits, that's 4. So this is a 2 attack, but if it hits, it does another 4. So it's a really threatening card, but it's also kind of unsusceptible. It's really good. I kind of like. Also, the art I think is one of the best in the entire deck. Just blue pitch, the red on the right, the ninja band on the right, the blue in the background. Beautiful. Yeah. So Throw Dagger. This is a card you might see in Syndra quite a lot. It also works well for us because of our retrieve cards. It's just one of those extra flick abilities. If you get to the late game and you don't have any more pick up the points, it's not as great, but it's still a card that lets you kind of do a bit more damage. Maybe it lets you fix your hand. You can be quite aggressive with this card, because if you know you still have all your pickups in the deck, or like 5 left, you can know when to throw this just for aggression, because you're like, alright, I have 30 cards left, 5 pickups, I'm gonna see it in the next hand or so you can be a bit more aggressive. And that's where like learning the flick knives part of this deck really comes in. And finally for the main board, I forgot to say we're on 50 main. Finally, we are on Warmonger's Diplomacy. There's really not a reason not to run this card in Ira if you can afford it. And now with Superslam out, it's even cheaper than ever. I got lucky. I opened one of these, and then I had to buy the other 2, or I might have traded one. Anyway, regardless, they were very expensive, 120, 130 at the time. Now I think they're like 60 bucks AD. So if you want to get it, definitely pick it up. It's a 3-block, 0 cost, exactly what we want for Kodachis, and it can also scuff Rune Blades. It's really good into Vincent. It's really good into What else? Some like Aura Guardians, not the instance though. Um, yeah, there's a ton of other niche options that you'll find as well. Into ranges, it's good too. Stops like a Blood Rush Bellows turn if you can snipe it out. But yeah, that's essentially the main. I'll move on to the sideboard now. This is more so the interesting things. So Erase Face. Erase Face, amazing into your talented heroes. We're talking Verdance, Florian. Remember, this comes in for 7 most of the time as well. So off a 2-card hand, we're pushing 8 damage most of the time with a really good on-hit. So we're looking at, yeah, Acilio, Verdance, Phi, and Syndra, the Draconic heroes. It stops their chain links. So it stops Volzar. Um, yeah, oh, it's a popper as well for Prism. There's really not many Prism in my local area, so, you know, it comes up sometimes. Maybe I'll add it in, maybe I won't, but into that matchup, I mean. But, yeah, it's really interesting. It's a really cool card, really strong. Just sucks that it blocks too. Fate Foreseen is just to give us some more defensive capabilities, especially into KO now. Verdance and Florian, there's an argument actually to take it out and just go more aggressive, especially mainboarding Sinks. We don't want to be too defensive into those matchups because then we're just playing towards their game plan. But yeah, Fate Foreseen lets you opt, you know, mainstay card, been around since the second set. Next we've got Humble. Humble's a card I've really grown around to in the last probably month or so. I was never a fan of this in IRA. I always thought, oh, just play Weakest Link, just play Amnesia, just play like some other card. This card is really, really good into Fang. This essentially acts as Erase Face, but it also stops their ability to get fealty when you're marked when they hit you. And it stops the free dagger swings if you're near the end of the game and you've shredded the armor. Because coming in for 7 when their deck is a lot of 2 blocks and instants is quite annoying. So, really strong card into Fang. It's a popper for Prism. It's good into like decks you wouldn't think so as well. Like, can be good into Florian. I wouldn't run it into Florian. Very good into KO. Stopping their 5 powers becoming 6s can really screw with their Wild Ride turns. Since they basically rely on everything that says 5 to say 6. What else? Let's have a look. Rangers, it's quite good as well, stopping the ability to reload if it's Marlin or Riptide. Yeah, there's quite a lot. You can run it into any matchup that you think the hero ability is quite good. Levia, I would say. Rhino, potentially. Like, yeah, just an all-around good card. It's quite cheap as well, so if you guys want to pick that up, I would definitely recommend. You'll notice the only really expensive cards we've got here is kind of the equipment. I would say CNC, maybe Easter Egg. I know they're not too expensive. I've seen Sensor go up quite a lot. So Sensor, Warmongers, and then probably Shelter. And that's kind of... Oh, and Weakest Link, but we'll get to that. So yeah, overall, it's a pretty easy deck. Ninjas are usually quite cheap. One of Oasis, just for Kano, and sometimes I bring it into Verdance as well to kind of park it in the arsenal in case they go for a big like finish. You do have to be careful though because it's quite annoying against Plow and CNC, but you can still play it in response, so it's not bad. This card is kind of in more of a flex slot at the moment, but I think the card it's good. It has its place in the meta. If you're expecting Kanos, add 2. Take out Snatch, to be honest, just add another one. You really don't get punished for just having it in your arsenal the entire game, and when they try to blow you up, you just say no. Shelter, really good into your Assassins, really good into Syndra, gives you a lot of game. Good into Vincent and Runechant decks like Florian as well. Just an all-round really nice card, printed from the Hunted. Just lets us be a lot more flexible with our defense reactions when we need to get in those situations where, hey, I got quad red, this kind of acts like a blue. So, yeah, not bad. Sigil of Solace, that's coming in for Verdance primarily, and Acilio. You can also run it into decks with Arsenal Disruption to get them with a little bit of a gotcha. Like, if you're expecting a lot of Mario and Slippy, I would add 1 or 2 of these over, say, something like your Pain in the Backsides. Yeah, just like a nice little bait card, gives you some life, can play it in response to Arsenal Disruption. And if you go first, you might get lucky and draw it as well. So, yeah, overall, I really like this card. I think it's good. We'll move on now. Hopefully, I'm not being too quick or too slow. I'm just kind of going through the list because I know people wanted a lot of detail on it. So I'll try to give you my matchup spreads as well. I haven't really done them, but I can kind of go through it briefly. Snatch is just in for KO for aggressive decks that don't really want to block. This is kind of just like a chain ender alongside your torrents, your bittering, your cut through, pains, that sort of thing. Just, you know, nice way to finish the game. If you saw that day one coverage of Superslam, you'll know how good Snatch can be. Um, yeah. You'll notice no Razor here this time. We've swapped that out for Unmovable. I've really been liking Unmovable as a one-of in this list. It's really good into KO. You don't want too many defensive options because you still need a win, but remember, we can always lean on our Kadachis to just chip in 1 to 2 damage every turn. And if you want to play full defensive, go for it. I mean, hey, a lot of times I'll just shove in 9-10 D-Reacts and then see how it goes. But this card from Arsenal blocks 8. We have a lot of blues to pay for it. It gets around Dominate against Pleiades. It's a really good card. Be careful of CNC though, because this will really get you. But yeah, against the Go Tall decks, you're thinking Guardians. I'm thinking Rangers as well. It's pretty good card. I would highly recommend running a single or 2 Unmovables if you have the slots for it. Off to Weakest Link now. Another anti-brute card. Obviously KO is the best deck in the meta right now, so we need to do the best we can to combat him. This stops their Bare Fangs, their Wild Rides, their Pulpings, and it lets us look at their hand. Most of the time, this will get armor, almost guaranteed, or 2 cards, so it's a great way to keep it around. Also blocks 3 over a Race Face, so if you get in a situation, this card generally is better to attack with, but this is more so anti-bellows, which is, you know, the main way that we lose games. Yeah, talked about the third Kodachi, and then to round off, we're on AB3. This is essentially just there for Verdance. I've been running AB3. It might seem like a bit much, but I've noticed with Light Up the Leaves, Pulsing Aether, and Burn Bear, there's a lot of Arcane in these decks now, and you do need, you either need to go no AB, balls to the wall, or you need 3 AB, and a lot of defense. I would even say somewhat pivoting to Fatigue may be a solution, but I would run Smashing Good Time as well. I've taken that out of the list because I'm not really teching for Verdance at the moment. I think more people will be on KO, and like I said, it's a really bad matchup regardless of what we do. So it's one of those things that you have to throw up when playing the deck. You know, you're not good into Earth Heroes. You can add tech like I've done to try and make the matchup better, but a lot of the time it doesn't help. But yeah, essentially this is sort of what we're going for. This matchup guide, you guys can have a look at it. A lot of the time though, I haven't updated this, so like for Florian, it might not be fully finished. Yeah, like I don't even have AB in this, so I would go for, yeah, so normally I go chest. So I'll just try and do this quickly for you guys, just to give you a little rundown. Yeah, so the extra 2 cards I'd be adding into this matchup would most likely be, I think I would just go like this. So yeah, if you guys want to have a look at that, you can pause it. Yeah, I'll update that. So next matchup, we'll go to Gravy Bones. Gravy Bones, pretty easy matchup. I think with a lot of the time, we're just going to go aggro, so all we really need is that, and that should round it off. Just basically every aggressive option we've got, just to slow them down. Yep, cool. Next one is Leviar. So Leviar, I go for the 9 D-React plan. Most of the time, I think it's quite important. What I would change actually is I would add these in, and I would probably take out... Okay, so we need the Humbles to stop the Blood Debt. I think I would honestly take out 2 Pain, and I would also take out the... potentially Torrent. I think Torrent's fine, or you could honestly, you could take out one of these. Like you could do this, and that's completely fine as well. Or if you wanted to add the Unmovable instead of the Torrent, sure, that's fine. Cool. Next up, we have Acilio. This is one that I do want to show you guys. So what we're doing here is I normally go with... let me just grab all of it now. Yeah, so most of the time I'm keeping Mask, and I'll actually keep the boots because we do want to get there on dual threat. But if you wanted to be a lot more aggressive, you could even run the pick up the points. I don't mind playing off less cards though, which is essentially why I keep the AB2, which will be, where is it? Like this. So, sorry, I just got rid of it. Yeah, so arms, chest, head, kind of like that. That's what I'll be looking at. Honestly, you can swap your arms for flick knives and get rid of the boots. You probably get more value out of flick knives. This is kind of like a change to me. I don't really know. But yeah, so let me add these in for you as well. And then what we want to do is we take out... we take out this. I want to keep the shelters in and the sinks instead. So yeah, honestly, I would go 61 cards a lot of the time. If you want, take out the snatch, run clean 60, something like this is probably what you're going to be looking at into that matchup. Yeah, what else do we have? Oh yeah, Verdants. So Verdants, like I said before, we're just on AB3. We'll add the Oasis as well. You can even run weaker slings into her to snipe the potions. You might get lucky off that, you might not. I would honestly run them just because I think it's a good card to hold in there. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, my apologies, everybody. I am back. Yeah, so essentially we're looking at something along the lines of, I would say this, to be quite honest. I would take out this. Honestly, the game plan is essentially like, how defensive do you really want to be? With the D-Reacts, we can block mostly all of their physical damage. The only thing that gets you is the potion setup, and without your smashing good time, it becomes a lot harder. So you could have something along the lines of this, and then lean on Oasis a little bit more, just a clean 60 there. There is nothing wrong with running 63 into this matchup, I don't think either. You could even cut out like the blue pick up the points because we're not flicking, and then just go for more defense that way. And then finally, I do want to show you a matchup for KO, and I'll show you just what I've been running into KO. If I can find him here, there we go. Just I guess KO. Turn preference, we always want to be going second because we're just going to lose otherwise. As bad as that sounds. No, I'm kidding, come on. So what we're going to do, we're going to add, a lot of the time, by the way, you'll have a base 50 and then just add the 10 cards that you think suit the matchup the most. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here as well, and then I'll add this too. That brings us here, and then essentially, I want to cut this. Most of the time I'm running this. This is like the 60 that I'm on. If you wanted to add an unmovable, you could add unmovable for probably, I would say, a Fate for Scene or a Pick Up the Point. Because you don't really want to get rid of your blues, because you want to be able to pay for this reliably and not, scuff your entire turn. That's where E-Strike comes in. But yeah, I would say probably something like this. If you want to be more defensive, add in your shelters for your pick up the points, just to keep your block density higher into this matchup. But yeah, that's kind of what I would go for, guys. Hopefully that was a good enough deck tech for you all. I really hope that you guys enjoy and that you do well in your PQs with this list. If you do run this or something similar, please let me know in my comments. I would love, if just comment under this video actually. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts. It would be so cool, just opinions, discussion. It's really fun. I love talking to Ira, especially Flick Knives Ira. I think is one of the most fun decks that you could be playing in Fab, to be quite honest. I'll go over the maybe board as well, just for the people that are still here at the end, how everyone says that. So yeah, kind of Razor we've got just in case. Sirens I found is really interesting. I would probably add this if you're worried about Verdance. I would go to 3 of this instead of the Humbles. That's more of a meta pick. 10 Foot Tall is really interesting. This is a card that I ran a long time ago. My locals know I've been looking for the EA for a long time. Essentially, you just want to sync this with E-Strike and Sync Below till the end of the game against your Earth Heroes, and then just have a massive turn where they're low on armor at that point, and then you just go like blue into Bittering into blue into this, or just something like crazy like that. Upsticks are there for you upsticks gamers that think +4 is better than 3. Arcane Compliance, I tried into a Silo, kinda whack. Poison the Well, kinda whack. Snag, sure, if you have assassins around, definitely a choice. Blue upsticks, could be good. Could be a swap for blue pickup, if you really wanted to. Honestly, this is just preference at that point. But yeah, honestly, thank you all so much for recommending I do a deck tech for Ira, the Exuder of Confidence. That's an old name because I used to have Exude Confidence, which you can run if you're worried. I would actually add Exude Confidence for Snatch and potentially even Oasis and Unmovable if you wanted 3 Exudes. Maybe add a Razor to give it go again. Could be good. Good into Earth Heroes, I'll tell you that much. And your blues can buff it up as well. So it is a good card. It is a very good card. I would recommend. Monarch card as well. But yeah, that'll be all from me, guys. I hope you have success. I hope I have success. Yeah, and yeah. So I will say as well, my meta used to be probably a lot of Verdance. Looking now, maybe Florian, maybe Syndra, maybe KO might be the idea alongside Superslam's calling release and Shizuoka. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I have been testing a bit of Syndra. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of like a backup deck, maybe like a week 2, week 3 deck. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have both in my bag, and I'll let you guys know regardless. If you do want to see Syndra gameplay, I'm happy to show it. Definitely not my favorite hero by any means, although I do love ninjas regardless. So yeah, that'll be it. Signing off, guys. Have a good one, eh?